Hi, my name is Adam, welcome to my channel. This is my first ever video, so I thought a lot about what I should do, what the topic should be, and I could have just done, the usual things like talking about trends or product reviews or just different design periods, but then I just thought, why not do something more hands-on? Today we're going to take this mirror that my neighbour chucked out in the garden, so it's not in a very good shape at all, to say the least, and we are going to make it into hopefully something much more attractive. And what's more important, we are going to do it on a budget. So for this tutorial we are going to use up all those little paint sample pots that are lying about in a box somewhere in your cupboard. So if you're ready, let's get started. So my mirror is covered in this very questionable looking wood effect paper, I guess. It's already peeling off, so I'm using the hairdryer to melt the glue and peel it off completely to get rid of it, so I have a clean surface to work on. If yours is in a better condition or is solid wood, you can just use the spray primer and spray it straight onto the surface. At this point I already had some regrets about even starting this project. I burnt myself so many times with the hairdryer. It's really painful, so if you're using one, just be really careful, guys. The mirror itself is just held in its frame with these clips at the back, so I'm going to take it out. If yours is not removable, just make sure you put some masking tape around the edges and cover the surface with some plastic to protect it from the spray paint. The next step is the spray paint. So after you give the can a really good shake, moving the can from side to side, make sure that you only press the nozzle for a second or two at a time to avoid getting too much paint on the frame in one spot. Otherwise it will just run and it will not give you a smooth finish. You'll probably need a couple of coats to get a full coverage. I needed two. Just make sure you wait long enough for the paint to feel dry to the touch before you apply the next coat. Once it's all dry, I'm just going to use my very professional looking workbench here, which is just two old garden chairs, but they will do the job perfectly well. It's a good idea to have some sort of plan in mind, a drawing, a sketch, just something that helps you keep track of all the colors and their positions on the frame. This is my plan. It's not the most beautiful, but it is really just a rough roadmap and a guide to help me. Next, I'm just going to put down some masking tape on the frame to mask up areas where I want to paint. I didn't do this at the time, but it's probably a good idea, and you can save yourself a lot of bother and time if you just pick one color and mask off all the areas where it needs to go and paint them together all around the frame. So once they're dry, you can just move on to the next color. For applying the paint, get yourself a really soft brush, otherwise you will get all these brush marks, especially with the darker color. I had that issue with the brush that came with some of the sample pots, and it was just bugging me. I ended up having to sand down the top layer and reapply the paint again to get rid of the marks, so soft brush is the way to go. With the paint getting on nicely, we are going to use some metal leaf, copper, in these two corners with a technique called gilding. It's a useful skill to learn, and it's also great fun, and you can use it for many different projects in the future. This is the gilding paste that we're going to use for the next step. I got this one from Amazon, and this was the cheapest I could find. This bottle will last forever. It was maybe £5 or £6, so it wasn't too bad. I tried PVA and other types of glues, but it didn't really work. I was just keep wasting copper leaf. It's the best that you just get this proper gilding paste, which is specifically made for this purpose. So what you want to do is take your trustworthy soft brush and brush on the thin layer of the gilding paste everywhere that you want your metal leaf to stick to. Make sure you just put a very thin and even layer on so it all dries at the same time, because you don't want one area to be wet while the other one is dry. Once you got the whole area covered, and I mean the whole area, every last bit of it, because if you miss a spot, the leaf won't stick to it. So once you have it all covered, the drying time will be about 10-15 minutes, so you don't need to wait long. It will be dry, but it's still going to be somewhat sticky, so it's a dry stickiness, if that makes sense at all. Then you're ready to put the leaf on. They're really delicate. I got these ones also from Amazon. They were not expensive. They're not real copper, but they're really good imitation. I'm going to put the link in the description for you. You can also use different colors, so you don't have to use copper. This is the one that I thought would really suit my design, but you can use gold, you can use brass, silver, rose gold. You can try and use the tip of your brush to transfer it over to the frame, like the pros do. It was just keep breaking for me, so I used my fingers. But be really careful because it will just rip very quickly. So what you want to do is that try and lay it flat onto the surface, and when you take the next leaf, you just slightly overlap the two so you don't leave any gap, because it will really show up. Make sure you just gently dab it onto the surface with your soft brush. Don't use your finger or don't brush it. Also, if you have all these big pieces hanging at the side, you can totally just use them to patch up little areas that you missed. But do it in one go, because otherwise it will be really visible. I would say once you have the whole area covered, just wait about an hour so the whole thing will be really dry. What happened to me is I didn't wait long enough, and when I got to the brushing stage, I just brushed off a lot of the leaf. I had to patch it up afterwards, and it was very visible. I ended up with this rustic finish, which I quite like, so in the end it worked out fine. Once it's all dry, here comes the best part. You can just brush off the excess copper. Just use the brush you used before, and with these sweeping motions, just go over the whole area and get rid of all the excess. It's really messy, so put something down that will catch all these falling off pieces, otherwise for weeks you will find copper leaf everywhere in your room. Once it's all clean, take some of this tissue paper, gently rub it. This will fuse the metal onto the frame. And that's about it, you're done. It wasn't too hard, and it turned out way better than I expected. I made loads of mistakes on the road. If you liked this tutorial, please let me know in the comments below. And if you didn't like it, well, also let me know in the comments below, because I just want to know what you think. And hopefully I see you guys in the next one. Take care. Oh, and also if you tried painting your own mirror, just send me some photos, because I would love to see them.